why I come to making a film about Kashmir. It's obviously not coincidental that I'm a Kashmiri myself, but principally from about 1997. In 1997, which was the 50th year of Indian independence, I was commissioned to make a short film about Indian democracy. And it was aimed at college students, young college students. And it was a very, in a sense, a very kind of a watershed for me personally as a filmmaker, because I was quite astounded by what I encountered while I was making that film. It was not a very long film, it was a half-an-hour film, but it started me thinking about the practice of democracy in India and what made people continue to have faith in a system that didn't easily seem to be offering too many rewards to them. That film was made, and eventually I followed it up with the film that Yasmin referred to, which is a film in the Narmada Valley about the anti-can movement, or Words of Water, which was about this 15-year-old, at that time 15-year-old, non-violent Gandhian resistance movement to a series of very destructive dams in the Narmada Valley in central India. So what I'm trying to suggest is that actually from 1997 onwards, there has been in all my work a preoccupation with the sort of the description of Indian democracy, and this film I began to work on in 2003 as a Kashmiri. I'm a Kashmiri Pandit. I'm born a Kashmiri Pandit, which means I'm a Kashmiri Hindu in a place which is actually 95 or 98% Muslim. And in the community that I belong to, the vast majority of them left Kashmir in around 1990 because of the militancy. And in a sense, my own family, although my family had already moved out, between 1989 and 2003, I didn't go back. So I didn't go back for 14 years either. But when I went back in 2003, I think I went back with a whole sort of set of questions in my mind. I wasn't going back as a minority or as someone with a cross to bear. And this is the film I made. And it took quite a long time making. I shot it in 2004 and 2005 and edited it through 2006, and eventually it was shown in 2007. The film has had an extraordinary life in India, which is quite interesting, because Kashmir is not a subject about which most Indians want to know a great deal about. It's something which is quite conveniently attributed to something that Pakistan sponsors, something that is part of an Islamic sort of upsurge, and of course there are a few human rights which are regrettable, but that's about how much most Indians want to know about it. But by the time the film was made, and we can talk about it later and circulated, it's a long and not an easy film to watch. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes long. It does not try to be informative. It's formally a bit obtuse. But I think that somehow the timing of it was quite fortuitous, and lots of people have seen the film. And I actually want to be able to talk about that in the discussion later. That what is it that makes people turn to film, and in particular a film like this at a time like that, and how does that work, that kind of relationship. So I hope some of you will stay back for the discussion, and we'll just watch the film and go from there.
Do you have any predictions as to where Kashmir is going?
If you were to give me a time frame, I might take a guess. No, it's a difficult question. I think that certainly it's not staying happily with India, that's for sure. And if nothing changes, and I use the word unhappiness somewhat lightly. What I mean to say is that if nothing changes, then the bloodshed will continue, and it's a price that is not just being paid by the people of Kashmir, but my own feeling is that what is happening in Kashmir is completely corrupting Indian democracy from within. And I think that it has, I think that one reason why more and more Indians are beginning to get concerned about what's happening in Kashmir is not because they feel troubled about Kashmiris, but because they're troubled about themselves. You know, what will it mean? And I don't just mean the economic cost, which is huge, the cost of having 600,000 soldiers, you know, out there, but just in terms of the kind of, you know, to sustain an occupation is psychologically a very damaging thing for anybody. You know? So I think that to say whether there's going to be freedom, I think you could say that over the last 20 years, one of the things that I would be so bold as to say is that earlier there were three choices. There was India, and there was Pakistan, and there was Azadi. I think it would be fair to say